There are all the scientists and the biologists and so on, saying that the ascent of man is only through knowledge. We so easily accept what the professionals say. We never inquire for ourselves. It's one of the calamities, I think, one may be wrong, that books have become so important. What other people have said and written. All the professionals, psychologists, we're talking of not the professionals in the technological world, but the psychological professionals who have accumulated a great deal of knowledge about oneself, about other human beings. And that knowledge, will knowledge transform man? Transform totally, completely the nature of his consciousness, not partially, not here and there, little less fear, a little more kindness, a little more generous, less conflict. But will this knowledge that man has acquired through many, many centuries about the psyche, about the various divisions in consciousness, will knowledge, that is the accumulated information and accumulated experience, will that knowledge transform the whole content of man, content of his consciousness? Please ask this question of yourself. You have studied, you have inquired about yourself, or you have been told by other psychologists what you are, and you have accumulated knowledge about yourself. Perhaps not too much, but little. And that has that knowledge being always of the past. Whether that knowledge has transformed man, or a totally different kind of energy, totally different kind of activity or non-activity, will that bring about transformation in consciousness? Because this is again important to understand and go into. There are those who say consciousness, man is conditioned. You cannot possibly transform that condition. The whole philosophy, the whole school exists believing that, asserting it, writing all about it by very, very clever people. And if it cannot possibly be transformed, then we'll perpetually live in conflict, live in contradiction, continue in eroticism of various kinds. So, is knowledge of one's wife going to transform the conflict that exists between man and woman? So one has to ask, what place has knowledge? All that you have learned in school, college, university, your own personal experiences, the accumulated reservoir of memory is stored in the brain, which is the past. Meeting the present may modify itself and continue in that modified in time as the future. So he's saying, asking, will that knowledge, has that knowledge brought about deep change in human beings so that they will not kill, so that there is no fear of whatsoever psychologically, so that human beings have this extraordinary capacity to love another. And has not knowledge become a barrier to love? Please do inquire into all this. So can there be ending to all the things that prevent that perfume? And it cannot be brought about through conflict, through struggle, through the assertion of will. For after all, will is the summation of desire, the essence of desire. We also should talk over together one of the most complex and apparently endless suffering. Suffering, not only separative, individualistic, personal suffering, but also the suffering of mankind. There have been so many wars, practically every year throughout the world for the last 5,000 years and more. War, that means every year killing, killing, killing. How many millions have suffered, shed tears, felt the flame of loneliness. And yet we do not apparently use our intelligence to stop this cruelty, this bestiality of violence, which we talked about too the other day. So there is suffering.